Happy Friday! Welcome back to Drinking by Myself. My name is Emma. Usually I'm here to make your TBR get longer. Today I'm here to make your YouTube watch later list get longer. So many jokes just came into my head about making things longer, but I'm not going to make any of them. So what I'm doing with this video is telling you some of the BookTube videos I have been watching and loving lately so that you can also go and watch them and enjoy. But I am specifically focusing on booktubers who deserve a lot more love. So I'm specifically looking at BookTubers of Color and booktubers with under 5,000 subscribers. You know, where that Venn diagram meets. So a few months ago, there was a lot of talk on BookTube about making sure that you diversify your subscriptions, make sure that you are subscribed to more black booktubers, specifically was the conversation there. And this was a really, really great conversation, and a lot of black booktubers found that they were getting a lot more subscribers. But where it went wrong is that those people then weren't watching the videos, they weren't engaging, they weren't commenting. So I just wanted to help out in my own small way, however I can, to just encourage you guys to keep actively seeking out black booktubers, and I did expand this to include other booktubers of colour who are also often neglected by our community, and to make sure that you subscribe, but most importantly, that you watch, that you engage, that you listen, because these booktubers are amazing. They've got fantastic recommendations, a lot of which will be a more diverse reading list than you're perhaps getting from other people, so that is a benefit to you, but make sure that you repay that favour by actually including these booktubers in our community. Otherwise, can we really call ourselves a community? So that's what this video is about, and I deliberately, I don't know if this was the right or wrong thing to do, I deliberately didn't put booktubers of colour in the video title, because what I didn't want is for people who are searching for booktubers of colour to type that in and end up just getting like a white person making this video. Like, that's not what people would be looking for with that search term, so that's why I haven't put that in the title, but that's what this is. Okay, hopefully that made sense. Okay, so the first video, and by the way, not all of these videos are recent. I kind of watch BookTube in a really random order, so these are just videos that I've watched recently, but they're not all like new videos. So for example, this one is at least a few months old. This was from the booktuber Just Aaron, and the video is Books I Love But Can't Remember, which is honestly such a relatable concept. I feel like that's every book I've ever read. So she talked about those books that you rated them 5 stars on Goodreads, you remember saying you loved them, but you don't remember a single thing about them. So when someone else tries to talk to you about it, they're like, oh my god, remember this scene, remember how important it was, remember that meaning, and you're like, and she like actually acted out little sketches in that of those conversations happening. It was such a funny video. In general, Aaron is a really funny booktuber. I really enjoy her. She talks very fast and everything she says is super witty, so she's one to watch. Okay, the next video that I literally just watched last night was actually just the Meet the Booktuber tag, but it was the one done by Plots with a Twist. So these are 2 women who make videos together, and I just really enjoyed watching this video. It was such a great way to get to know their personalities, which is the point of the tag video, of course it was, but the 2 of them just vibe so well together. They're really natural together. I actually first found them a couple weeks ago from watching their review that they did of Such a Fun Age by Kylie Reid. I loved that book so much that after I read it, I always do this when I love a book. I'll go and search BookTube and then the name of the book and watch like everyone's reviews. And I watched theirs and I really liked them, so I subscribed. And then last night I was going back through their videos and watched their Meet the Booktuber. None of that story was interesting to you. What's interesting is that you should watch that video because they're really cool and I really like their personalities, and they're quite different from each other but complement each other, and it just works. There are actually very few channels I follow that's more than one person. So there's Plots with a Twist. I also follow Spine Breakers. I can't think of anyone else. So it's like quite unusual, but it's really fun because you get that dynamic of them like playing off each other. Oh, okay, so the next one on this list, I had been planning to include this video, but it's by the booktuber Bookish Babe, who is brilliant, and she just went over 5,000. So congrats to her. She no longer fits with the theme of this video, but I'm going to include this video anyway because I love her and I think she's brilliant. So the particular video that I really wanted to recommend was actually her first ever video, which was her top 10 favourite books. So this was the first video of hers that I watched, and I have been hooked ever since and watched all of them. But this one was great, A, because it's such a good way to get to know someone, learning about those 10 all-time favourite books. But also it was really fun the way she did it. She put these little annotations up on the screen, which are really funny and also like informative. She is a really interesting person anyway. She works in publishing, so you get a lot of that publishing insight with her, and she's done a whole video on working in publishing and talked about working with publishers as a booktuber, what you should expect, like what you should be asking for. I have actually commissioned a video from her myself for Book Break where I work, so I got to have that work relationship with her, which was fun. And yeah, she's just great. So go and watch that first video and then watch everything else. Okay, my next one, I basically want to recommend a whole playlist of videos from the booktuber. She used to be called Black Emily Dickinson, but she has recently changed her channel name to her name Cree Miles, and she does these word of the week videos, which I could not love more. I have never loved a BookTube playlist more. These are videos where literally she tells you a new word, she tells you what it means, and then she writes a song about it to help you remember. And if you want me to recommend one in particular, I've literally been singing the Anachronism song ever since I first heard it. It is so catchy, so that's a good one. But I'm just obsessed with all of these videos. Also, they're like genuinely useful. I realised from watching the Anachronism one that I did not have the right definition of that word. I fully 100% thought I knew what it meant, but I did not have the right definition. So that was informative. And the videos are just so fun and funny. The Anachronism one, as we are talking about that, was great because it had this really funny, catchy rap, but it also then ended with her standing in front of a mural to Breonna Taylor, because her rap had incorporated talking about racism. So it suddenly ended with this like quite powerful, moving statement at the end. She is one of my favourite booktubers. I've recently subscribed to her Patreon. I just think she's brilliant. She genuinely should have like 100,000 subscribers. Okay, my next one is very on brand for me because it involved booktubers hanging out with their sisters, which you know is my favourite thing to do. So this was from the booktuber Ptolemy from Tea Time Tea Reads, and it was the Bookish Sibling tag. Is that what it was called? I think so. Ptolemy is hilarious in general. She has so much energy. So she has this intro song that she puts at the beginning of all of her videos. I think it's the song from Tangled. I have seen Tangled once. I think it's from that. But it's her like singing and dancing along, and honestly, I've seen it so many times because I've watched a lot of her videos, and I still smile every time as if it's the first time I've seen it. She's just brilliant, and she's got this hilarious sibling relationship with her sister, so I was just laughing the whole way through that video as well. Okay, so the next video is from the booktuber Donna Tsundoku. I subscribe to her because we have really similar reading taste, so every time I see her talk about a book she loved, it's one that I loved as well, so now I feel like I'll just trust any recommendation she ever gives me. So that's the reason I subscribed. But the particular video that I just absolutely loved watching was the video that she made right after she got engaged. Nothing to do with books. She just did a video with her fiance showing off her ring, lots of gorgeous footage of her Christmas where she got engaged, and it made me so happy. It was so cute. And she does also then talk about books at the end of that video, and obviously everything she says about books is brilliant and very intelligent, and you should really listen to it, but also like just swoon over her getting engaged because it was really cute. Okay, next you should watch the video that Trin from Transformers made where she read her boyfriend's all-time favourite book, which is such a funny concept because she then could like absolutely trash it. She was actually quite nice about it. Like, she did not like a lot of it, and she was, you know, very straightforward about that, but she was also nice. I feel like if it was me reading Archie's favourite book, I would have just like absolutely dragged it, but she was really funny. The book that was her boyfriend's all-time favourite book was Kafka on the Shore, which is a book I haven't read, but it sounds so weird, so there was a lot in there for Trin to talk about, like whole chapters where she was just like, what the fuck is this chapter? Okay, the next one I had written down on this list, and then when I went to try and find it again last night, I couldn't find it, and I couldn't find this person's whole channel. Oh hey, it's me, editing from the future. Turns out I was just being stupid. I had spelt Book Cave with a space, and it doesn't have a space, and with the space, YouTube just, for some reason, could not recognise that, could not find it. It turns out it's all one word, Book Cave. I found them, they're great. So I'm going to cut the whole ramble I just did about how sad I was that I couldn't find this channel because
I found it.
I absolutely loved this video that they made on horror and on how popular horror with white people is very different from popular horror with, they were talking about, for queer people and also people of colour. Because for white people, horror is often about fear of the other, whereas queer people and people of colour are so used to being othered that isn't what feels scary to them. I'm not explaining it very well, but it was so interesting, and I can't find the video. But like, this is a cry for help. If you guys know where that video is, if you know what I'm talking about, let me know, because I actually really want to watch it again and also just keep watching her videos, and I can't find her. And then one more video that I found really interesting and learnt a lot from was from Remarkably Lisa. So she made a video that was called something like Romance Reader Reads Bookstagram's Most Popular Women's Fiction Books. It was called something like that. I will link it, you'll be able to find it. But what I loved about it was her discussion of the difference between romance and women's fiction. So I would have always said that I don't particularly read either of those genres, but they're both quite like, blurred lines genres, and actually her discussion of it was really interesting to learn. I might have lumped those together, and her explanation of how they're different was really interesting. It was a perspective I hadn't heard before. Okay, I'm going to stop there. I don't want to completely overwhelm your watch later playlist, but now I would ask you guys to let me know what you think I should be watching. What are some videos that you've particularly enjoyed on BookTube lately? And I will see you guys soon. Happy Friday, have a nice weekend watching all of those videos and not leaving your house and doing nothing else. Okay, bye!